Hello, humans. I am ST Lapicus. I have finally transcended my human form in order to make VR content and actually get paid.
So you just bought the Canon R5C or R7 and one of those fancy new dual fisheye lenses. And now the path to victory is quite clear. You just point your camera in the direction of something interesting, and the jobs, clicks, views, and accolades will come rolling in like the tide. You have not even begun to suffer half of what you will, or half of what you deserve. Because filmmaking in VR is not at all as easy as I thought it was going to be. Not only are you working with 8K footage from the R5C, but in order to even get the fisheye lenses into a unwrapped, stretched, ST mapped, whatever you want to call it, if you want to get that in a way to which a VR headset can even utilize it, you need all sorts of media injectors, Google floppers, you need ST mappers, you need KVR nodes and VONC nodes injecting into them. There's a lot of injections going on, and I'm a little bit worried now because is there going to be some sort of VR injection mandate coming soon? All jokes aside though, it is pretty intense, the workflow working with these cameras. But see, I have a smooth brain and I find it difficult to enjoy creativity whenever I have to wield workflows as fluidly as a Korean street vendor. But then I met Andrew Hazelden, and this guy is that Korean street vendor wielding ST maps and XR VFX workflows like it was born to him.
I work on immersive media tools that are used in planetariums. Planetarium today is now not just star dots, it's a full video screen, either from laser projectors or LED video walls. So it's as if you're walking into a virtual stage, kind of like as if you're on a holodeck in Star Trek, but it's all around you.
The guy is seriously on the next level. However, that in part, I think, is part of his problem. He understands these things on such a level and they're so natural to him that he kind of can't really understand anyone that doesn't understand that. But that's where I came in and I beat on his door for weeks trying to get him to help me make this workflow as simply as possible. And not only is he smart, he is also humble.
We have the fine artist filmmaker who's there to tell a story, and then we have the creative technologist whose purpose is to enable the filmmaker to tell the best story they can. And it's the marriage of those two skill sets that pushes the technology forward and makes better content.
The guy listened, he took my advice, and to my surprise, together, we made a workflow for ST maps that I believe truly is going to change the game because it's incredibly easy. Now, I could talk about how bad workflows were in the past a little bit longer and explain why my version is, better, but to be honest, let's get right into it and I'll just show you the workflow and how to use it yourself. Maybe at the end we'll talk about why it's so good. In the zip I'm going to give you in the description of this video, there'll be three things: a folder called 33rd Frame, a folder called ST Maps, and of course a Reactor installer. First thing you want to do is install Reactor if you haven't already. Go over to the Fusion tab and just drag this in right there and it will install Reactor. Now I've already got Reactor installed, but once you have it installed, you're going to go to Workspace, Scripts, Reactor, Open Reactor. After it loads, you'll be met with this. What you want to do now is click on Cartaverse, drop that down, and click on Carta VP. You don't have to install all of the Cartaverse modules, but you do need to install the Carta VP modules. Some of the Carta VR modules are also pretty cool, but specifically what we're going to be using is Carta VP. So you do need to install all of these in the Carta VP. That'll take a while, but once it's done, you'll be ready to go. Okay, so once Carta VP is installed, now you should restart Davinci. Now after you close Davinci, we can do the second part before we reopen it. Now once Davinci is closed, you're going to right-click 33rd Frame folder, click Copy. Now if you installed Reactor somewhere different than the standard one, which I don't recommend, then you're going to have to find this on your own. But if you did install it normally, it's going to be in C, Program Data, Blackmagic Design, Davinci, Fusion, Reactor, Deploy, Templates, Edit, Effects. Now what this has inside is the KVR Super Mapper, and we're putting it in a place that's going to show up on your edit page, and that's really the greatest part about this whole tool. The second thing you want to do is you want to right-click ST Maps. You want to copy that, and you want to paste that to your C drive. And the reason why is because automatically, whenever you drag this onto an adjustment layer, it's going to automatically load that ST map that you need, or if you need to change it from like the R7 to the R5C or something like that, it's going to automatically go into the right directory. You don't have to put this in your C drive, but then you would need to load that folder somewhere else. I think it's just a bit more confusing for some people, so just paste this into your C drive. There's no issue here. What's inside is actually the clinical ST maps that I made using R5C footage and R7 footage. Those are the two cameras I have now. If you want your camera to have a clinical ST map that's going to be part of this workflow, just go ahead and send me some footage and shoot me an email. And I greatly appreciate, by the way, also if you subscribe to the Patreon. Not mandatory, but it does help quite a lot. Now you are surprisingly done. We're going to drag a adjustment clip right over top of that. Then we're going to go to the 33rd frame folder and drag the super mapper on top of that adjustment clip. And voila, it takes you automatically right into the anaglyph mode. Now, I have it set to R5C footage right off the bat. If you have the R7 or some other camera, you're going to go over here and click Browse. It's automatically going to take you to the folder that has the various different cameras. Now, I am going to be updating this as people give me different footage, but right now I just have the R5C for myself, and from Nick Gregorio over there on YouTube, check him out, the Canon R7. So if you have the R7, you can just click that right there, and this will make an ST map for the Canon R7. But obviously this is R5C footage, so we're going to click that there. It also has set the view mode to anaglyph and flat. I find that to be the easiest way to get convergence, and the X shift and Y shift right here is for Y shift vertical disparity, so that you can kind of see that the red's a little bit too high. So we're going to see if we can kind of adjust that just a little bit. It looks to be just about right there. That's pretty good. Maybe actually just a little bit too much. Okay, and then the X shift, we're going to try to make that convergence a little bit more as well. It'll be a lot easier for you. But there we go. Yeah, that's pretty good convergence. Look how nice that looks. Then what we do is we're going to turn the view mode to normal and fisheye. You're going to want to go up to these three little dots here and click Show Power Bins. You're going to have this little bin here that will show on all the projects you have. You can then drag this adjustment clip up in there, name that to like something like Super ST Mapper, and now you don't have to go through like, 2 steps of dragging the adjustment clip and then dragging the 33rd frame thing. You actually can just click right here and drag that down, and it's going to be the same exact thing. Now this is where things are going to get a little bit crazy. You notice we have these black bars because all of those tutorials out there are telling you to put your VR footage at a 2:1 aspect ratio. Specifically, I think it was a tutorial saying the R5C should be put at 8192 by 4096, but that's actually just wrong because the actual resolution of the R5C open gate is 8192 by 4320 DCI. And as you can see when I set it to that, voila, no more black bars and no more crop at the bottom. And the reason for that, though, I understand, is because when you're working professionally, you're going to be working with multiple different cameras in the XR, VR, or 3D, stereoscopic. There's so many different things to do. So 2:1 became the standard. However, the R5C is not 2:1, and so you are going to be stretching your footage or getting black bars for no reason because YouTube will allow a non-2:1 upload, even though I thought they wouldn't. However, Andrew Hazelden said that they will be stretching it without telling you. So here's what Andrew actually recommended. Set your timeline to the actual camera's resolution, and this, when you go to deliver, you change the resolution to 4096, and you make sure that the image scaling is scale entire image to fit or scale full frame with crop. So you can kind of choose what you want there, and where you're going to be losing the information vertically or horizontally. And that way you're going to avoid a stretch. Now listen, you can stretch it just fine, but I personally, I don't want to stretch my footage to make it look weird. I'd rather just have a slightly less FOV because that's all it's going to mean if you add a bigger vignette onto these lenses. Well guys, I hope that helped, and I hope that gives you the confidence you need to take one of these crazy cameras out there and start stepping into the brave new world of VR filmmaking. This is 33rd Frame, and I'll catch you next time.